Okay.
Hello, my name is Lori Sinclair Minor. I love coming to this festival. It is my 4th year, and when I come here, I just feel like I'm home. I feel like no one I meet is a stranger, like everybody's family, and I love that I'm surrounded by people who look like me, who love the craft and the art of theater and just creating just anything artistically. It's a wonderful experience, and I encourage anyone and everyone to come out. It's every 2 years. Put it on your calendars.
Don't judge me.
I know.
Don't judge me.
I'm not judging.
The mere thought of someone judging me keeps me up at night.
What's the secrets of your night mind that's been keeping you up at night?
How dare you use my words against me?
I'm not judging. Yo,
How dare you, sir?
I'm just saying.
Well, a girl's got to eat, and my ancestors
Everybody
don't
mute.
want me starved.
What's the last time you paid for your groceries?
Well, I can't depend on that forever. And when you get married, your wife won't put up with it.
We have so much chemistry. You scare all of the women. All right. I'd like to schedule an appointment with Dr. Reichman for my friend Lynn Hall. She's been having trouble sleeping lately. Her asthma's been acting up. Yeah, she is a patient. Yeah. She can come now. All right, thank you. See you soon.
Thank you.
That's my job.
Well, I'm not a chore. That's a terrible thing for you to say.
Don't get so riled up. Save your breath. I am the living worst.
You really are.
How you put up with me?
I'll never know.
Must be the muscle.
I only keep you around in case I need to marry you for your health insurance one day.
That wouldn't be the reason we'd get married, would it? Let's go. Doctors ain't gonna wait forever.
Nick,
Yes?
do you think I'll ever have to look down when I walk too, instead of sky?
I know what you mean.
Well, do you think I'll have to one day?
No. There's nothing down there for you to see. You're looking up. One day you might even start to fly.
Ooh, I like that. I need a new monologue for my auditions.
Hi, welcome to News Desk. I'm Erica Ethan.
And I'm Joey Jetson.
Tonight we talk the shooter that didn't stand a chance. Black 25-year-old Deandre Dunes arrested last Monday for thinking about robbing your bank.
We'll also have more on Quan Quinton, the young black criminal who was apprehended by Neighborhood Watch for aggressively walking his dog.
Police are urging community members to lock their doors and to leave something to the imagination on social media. Find out why.
Is crack really whack? A surge in streams of New Jack City suggests the return of the black community's favorite drug.
All these stories and more tonight at 9. But first, let's get into this video that went viral of a little black girl celebrating her high test scores. Joey, did you see this video?
You know, Erica, I did. And I gotta say, I didn't like it.
Me neither, Joey. I thought the video was tasteless. I mean, why gloat like that? There are other kids who aren't getting these test scores. She's rubbing it in their faces.
Some people just don't know how to handle success, Erica. This little girl is a first-class bully.
That she is. We have to teach our children how to handle situations like this. It's just so unfortunate that there's a child out there having to watch this video.
So hurtful. In other news, a new popular song has kids singing, "You bleep bleep, you my bleep bleep." A new hit by rapper Big Y is the reason why your kids are most likely misbehaving. Doctors say the kids that know the lyrics to these songs are Black and are usually the ones that get in trouble.
It's true, Joey. The correlation is just there.
And we have to protect our kids, Erica.
That we do, Joey.
These are just one of those times where you have to turn off the radio.
That it is. Tonight, we talk Black 25-year-old criminal Deandre Dunes, who could have robbed your bank. I'm Erica Ethan.
And I'm Joey Jetson.
And this is News Desk.
It's a racial slur for an African American, but many African Americans use it in a harmless way. Vocabulary.com.
Let me bring it to the middle.
Get it, auntie. Oh, get it, auntie. Hey.
Oh, we related? Okay. Get him around, hey. Okay. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the back, bring it back, bring it back. To the front.
Welcome to Theater Talk Live, and I'm your co-host Kenneth Hinton with my co-host Michelle Saunders. And today, it was funny. Today we have Lori Minor and Deandre Sanders. How y'all doing?
I didn't know y'all recorded this. I did not.
You hadn't seen that, huh?
I have not seen it since the performance at all. I did not know.
You gotta remember now, I was the festival videographer. I was catching everything now. So it's been a while since you two been on the same screen. That was 2019 National Black Theater Festival. Tell us first, Lori, what you doing now? What you all
Right
about?
now, so since January, I've been working on different film and TV sets, but not acting. I've been in the health and safety department. So I've been working as a health and safety PA. And just over the course of from like once the shutdown happened till now, I've done a lot more playwriting, and I've had several monologues that I've written performed online through a festival with Vintage Soul Productions. And yeah, just been keeping myself busy around the house. And I also created a show. I didn't create the show. I was a part of a show that was filmed virtually called Jabari Dreams of Freedom, written by Nambi Kelly. Yeah.
And what platform is that on?
So you can go to, I believe it's jabaridreamsoffreedom.com. I'll look it up and confirm it.
Okay.
And then you can sign up to watch it there. So it's about Jabari, who he has this dream where he meets all these young children of the civil rights movement, and it's about, being brave and just learning that being afraid doesn't mean that that it cripples you. You can still be great and push through your fear. And so a lot of schools and different programs have seen it. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, before I bring Michelle in here, Deandre, that thing you worked on, and my student, the young lady that was there, well, she's not my student. She was one of my cast members in Trouble in Mind at North Carolina Central University. She's at Howard now. Her name is Cameron Shear, and she graduated from Hillside. And I'm just so proud of her and seeing y'all work together. Tell us how that project came about, and tell us about your background. I mean, not your background, but what you're doing now.
Well, first off, with that experience at the National Black Theater Festival, Cameron is a great young woman, great rising actress. I didn't realize how cool she was, so I got to know her off of the. We didn't have to do with and whatnot because we were waiting outside. I was waiting for a ride, and we just started chopping it up with one another. And I really realized a very very creative, intelligent woman, and I really hope to work with her again in the near future. Nonetheless, I came across a flyer on Facebook from Corinne Annette Jeffries, the playwright for the show. I never knew about the National Black Theater Festival. To be quite honest, that's quite ironic. I did not know about it. It was not too long after graduating from UNC Charlotte, and I was trying to look for more opportunities to get myself out there. And I came across that, and I said, okay. I looked at the National Black Theater Festival. I said, this is pretty nice. I said, okay, I'm gonna go audition for it in one of the regional libraries in Durham, North Carolina. And Corinne liked me. Well, I assume she liked me from the start because she called me back. And then that's where I met Ciantos, Cameron, and Zainab. And we just hit it off from there. And we started going over the script. I was the only male, obviously, indie piece. And then we went to the National Black Theater Festival. Now, I'm going to be honest. I've been in Raleigh, North Carolina, majority of my life. I've traveled to a couple of other states within the vicinity of the regional area of this country, but that was for basketball. So I just went to the gym, went to the hotel, and then came back to Raleigh. I never got to venture out there. But when I went to the National Black Theater Festival in Winston-Salem, I personally, in the arts wise, I've never been around so many Black creators, Black artists. It was shocking for me. Now, a lot of people there were used to it. I'm perplexed. Yeah. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I'm trying not to look like I'm trying to look confident. I'm a confident man, but I'm seeing all these stars. I done saw Thelma, Good Times. I done saw a plethora of different people. I'm like, yo, what is going on here? Like, it didn't make no sense. It was in a good way. It didn't make no sense to me that I found my way here. But I said, you know what? I'm going to really try to thrive in here, indulge in it. My friend Emily McCormick, who graduated from University of North Carolina at Charlotte with me, was one of the lead actresses, and she played Viola in 12th Night, one of the premier performances that year at the festival. And me and her, this is our first time there as well. So, you know, she's big-eyed as well. We a little wet behind the ears in that vicinity. And we just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it all. I went to I went to the parties with the other directors and the writers. I didn't know they really got down like that, but as soon as I got the green light, you know, sip, enjoying myself, you know, dancing and whatnot as well. Dancing. But the merge away from that. Since graduating from UNC Charlotte in the springtime of 2019, I decided to really take my career into my own hands. I've always been a quote unquote creative, artsy type of man because I started off with writing poetry for my girlfriends, and then it kind of ventured into writing music. And I kind of started getting into music production. And when I stumbled into acting, coincidentally, after waiting for a ride after a basketball practice, the first theater production or anything acting was Footloose. It was very interesting, and I enjoyed it. I enjoy getting praise from something that didn't have to do with sports. It was weird, but it's just that feeling from getting praise that didn't have to do with shooting the basketball. I enjoyed it so much, but I also did play basketball, so I lived that high school musical life seriously through high school and college. But since graduation, I decided to create my own series. My first thing was Take 5 Interviews, which I still do to this day. My first guest was Corinne Annette Jeffries. It's a platform where I interview all type of Black entrepreneurs, Black athletes, Black artists, and a lot of them to showcase themselves, their brand, and their talent on my show totally for free. The next show I decided to make was Work My Nerves. It's a sketch show that highlights the annoyances and pet peeves that get on all demographics and communities' nerves. I allow all actors to come on. I allow, if you're more of an experienced actor, you automatically get a lead role. If you're just putting out there, you might get a second the role. But nonetheless, I have all the skits alongside my co-writer Danny Jessen. And like I said, I took my career into my own hands, been making connections with individuals from Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn,
Yeah, I see
Clubhouse,
you
the
out
whole
there.
nine. Thank you, truly. Coming from a small RC area, like, you know, the RDU area is not really as out there as Charlotte. And since I'm not spending money going back and forth with gas, going from the Queen City to Raleigh, so I decided to make the best of what I can do here. And I'm going to really get my name out there day by day, year by year.
Right.
And now I just take the time to tell everyone this. I finally have my production company called Thespian Entertainment Productions that's officially getting off the ground.
All right. All right.
Truly,
Yeah.
I'm going throughout colleges and universities throughout the North Carolina area to recruit individuals for internships that also will receive money as well. I'm looking for directors, producers, writers that just want to earn some hours, earn some credits that can aid me as well, so we can collaborate. To get a lot of Black artists out there, Black filmmakers and Black writers. Nonetheless, I have a plethora of different platforms that I'm starting to rise. I have a one show, and the last one before I hand it back to you, that I'm starting on next year. It's called A Melanated Point of View. I am co-writing and co-directing with. Yeah, thank you. Co-writing and co-producing with my friend Angela McCormick. It's a show about five African American actors at a PWI, and it highlights the trials and tribulations the African Americans must go through in theater departments in theater departments in America. Not only does it highlight the discrimination, but it also highlights the positivity. You get to know these individuals, in their lives inside the theater and outside the theater. So I really can't wait to get that project off the ground.
All right. Well, you're looking at two educators here, me and Michelle. Michelle?
Yes, I thought the clip was, I'm going to tell you. So I watched it the first time and cracked up. The two of you, was it an improv? Like you said, Lori, you didn't know?
It was scripted.
It was scripted.
Yeah, we didn't.
She
We
wrote
prepared
it.
together in the process. No, I didn't write that one.
Oh, you didn't write that one. Okay.
Yeah, it was so it was a part of 48 Hours on Holy Ground. So we got together. First of all, there was auditions. So came out and auditioned, and if you got in, you got in. It was like what, maybe 20 actors, something like that. And then there were, I'm forgetting the numbers, maybe like 7 directors and writers. And so we all were together on on Thursday, I believe. And then met up, had a little chat with each other. And then the playwrights had, I don't know, maybe less than 12 hours to write the play. And then the next day we got together and it split off into our separate groups. Actually met up for the first time because I was doing like 3 different things at the festival. And so I didn't get to meet Deandre until we were in rehearsal together. So we met in rehearsal, got the scripts, rehearsed for like maybe 5 hours, and then just whatever time we had on our own after that. And then the next day we went into tech and did the show.
I think that is amazing. It was so funny to me to sit here and watch it the second time around. It's like the reaction and the body language. Like I said, I just thought it was truly amazing. It's funny. And Deandre, you got a little comedian in you.
Right.
Because you seem but Lori, you do too. Both of you seem very comical, but then at the same time can be serious. And I think that's talent, in my opinion, because I can only do one or the other, and then you just had a break.
I thank you for that, because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really done comedy in my acting career so far. I've really been drama. It's really been drama or romance. I've never really done a comedic type of project yet. So
yeah, I think it's in there. So my question, Lori, like, how long you've given us a little bit, but give us the background. Like, how long have you decided, like, hey, this is what I want to do? Or is this something that you just so happen to fall into? Has it always been a dream? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's funny how I got into theater. I like to say that I wanted something to do so I wouldn't have to go home. Not that home was great, but my brother and sister played sports. And so they would be, staying at school, playing basketball, playing soccer, whatever. I'd come home and I helped my mom and my grandmother like braid hair. And like that was fun, but I wanted something else to do. For no reason to stay after. So I auditioned for the play at my middle school and I got in. I was like, oh, okay. And at that point I didn't know what acting was. Really. I remember thinking, all right, I'm gonna come in and do this really long poem and they're gonna know that I can memorize a lot of words. And that's it. And that worked. And then, during the course of the rehearsals and everything, I got to learn a little more about what acting actually is.
Mhm.
And after that point, I think freshman year of high school, I decided, okay, it's official. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to be an actor. But growing up in South Carolina, I grew up in church, so I've been singing my whole life.
Oh yeah, you got a
And
voice.
and I love, like my mom loved Whitney Houston, and when I was a kid, I said I'm gonna be the next Whitney Houston. I'm gonna be singing, all the songs. I'm gonna be famous and all this. So from a young age, I thought I'm gonna be a singing superstar. And then when I realized that acting was an actual career, it was from there. It was I'm gonna be a singing and acting superstar. And yeah, just kind of built it on up from there.
All right.
Oh, that is awesome.
Deandre, you from Raleigh, and me and you were talking earlier, and I'm from Raleigh, and my son graduated from Southeast Raleigh High School too. But tell us about the background. What did you take at UNC Charlotte, and when did you get the acting bug? When did it get you?
Well, what is it? At UNC Charlotte, I originally went to Lewisburg College my freshman year of high school. It's a junior college around there in Lewisburg. I worked with a great director named Wally Hurst. He really taught me some good techniques on how to really grasp Shakespeare. And upon me leaving, he didn't want me to leave that second year. He didn't want me to leave that second year. But I told him, I said, I got to go. I was on the dean's list. I did what I had to do, and I said I made enough grades to go to a better school, so I was going to make it happen. When I went to UNC Charlotte, what is it? I started migrating myself in there slowly, starting to grasp some of the techniques. Because in high school, I was just fresh. I didn't know what was going on. I was just told, "Hey, this is pretty good. I like what you're doing." I won Most Improved Actor of the Year my senior year there. I was shocked about that. But when I went to UNC Charlotte, I really started honing in more on what's my type, what can I lean towards that can really aid me specifically. And my teachers always told me your presence and your voice alone command the stage, and you could use that to your advantage. I never thought about that. I didn't really know how resonant my voice was until my vocal teacher at UNC Charlotte told me. And they said if you take a lot of voice lessons, that you get more, that you try to work on that more and more, you can really use that to your advantage. And I started learning how to incorporate my body more into my character, and learning how being a bigger guy and acting can really play to your advantage in so many ways. And I really forced myself to really work on that day by day, whether that was physical theater or whether that was just learning how to working out and incorporating incorporating my physicality onto the stage. Now, year by year, I think of my junior year is when a whole new class. When I first got to UNC Charlotte, there weren't as many African Americans. I think it was me and maybe 15 or less. I think it had to be 15 or less. My junior year is when a whole new wave, like a whole new wave of people came through. My fellow Black Kings, Marcus Fitzpatrick, who just got accepted to NYU. My brother Derek Jones, my brother Aaron Allen, who is at the UNCG program, and Dylan Island, who is still currently at UNC Charlotte his senior year. Shout out to my Black Kings. They really helped me learn who I am as an actor and as a person, because I would deal with a lot of stuff in life around that time. And they told me, put that into your craft. And I had to learn day by day, how to attack it, how to go, how to go out there. And it was my friend Aaron Allen who told me how I can transfer and correlate athletics into acting. And the way I view it is as I didn't get nervous going into acting, because I would perform in front of crowds all the time for basketball. And how I prep myself for the stage, I work out before shows. That's what gets me mentally prepared. I do 50 push-ups before the curtain opens, because I view it as, me personally, I view it as a competition. You want to be, you want to go out there and show yourself to the best of your capability. You want to go out there and show your fellow partner that you got them. If they slip up on the line, you can improv and get them right there on the track. And that's just like if a person misses the game-winning shot and there's 2 seconds left, I can get the rebound and put it back up. That's what I viewed it as. And really having my brothers next to me really kept me from migrating out of the arts. And they showed me that the way I look in society, I can change the narrative and break the stigma of Black culture through the arts. And that's really what I've been forcing myself to do since falling into the game of the arts and entertainment industry.
All right. Lori, where did you learn your acting techniques? Because you have a presence on stage, and I noticed that. Yeah, I mean, I tell my students all the time, acting is believing, and once you believe that you are that person, then everybody else believes it, and you do a great job. So, how did you get your training?
Thank you. Just before I say that, I just want to shout out Pia Wilson, who actually wrote the play that Deandre and I did at the festival. Nothing to see down there.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Pia Wilson. So I studied at, like, aside from middle school and high school, Circle in the Square Theater School in New York. So I moved here in 2013. I was like, New York is so big, and like, I need a buffer. What's that?
When you say here, where is here?
You're in New York City.
Oh, New York City. Okay.
Yeah, still here. Moved in 2013, and I haven't left. But yeah, I studied there, and that's been most of my training.
Okay.
Yeah, there's always things you like love and like don't love about a program. One thing that I know that I took from there and just try to do in everything that I'm working on is just to free myself, like in my body, and just get out of my head.
Right.
Especially when you're doing anything, but sometimes, because I hadn't done a whole lot of comedy either in my acting, or I feel like I hadn't done a whole lot of comedy, but sometimes when you're doing that, you get in your own head.
Right.
Oh my gosh, am I doing this? Like, are people gonna laugh? And it is a matter of just committing to what it is you're doing, like committing to the story. You can't judge the character while you're in the character, because you're judging them if you're going, oh, well, you're this or you're that, or I don't think, whatever, then it's not going to be authentic, because sometimes you do go around judging yourself.
Yeah.
But you're your best free self when you're just committing to who you are as a person and what you're doing. So yeah, so I just commit to the character and try to learn everything I can about the person to bring them to life off the page more than a 2D thing into a 4D being.
All right.
So do
Michelle?
you find yourself evolving? So you moved to New York in 2013. You're like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and I am acting. Now I am writing. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started writing actually before I moved to New York.
Okay.
But I started writing officially plays in 2012. I was writing poetry, short stories, and stuff
Mm-hmm.
all my life. Um, and then once I moved to New York, I kind of put it down a little bit to focus on my acting because I said, well, I'm here at theater school. I'm going to, focus my energies there. And then I did a little bit of writing here and there. And then after I graduated, I jumped back in and was writing some things here and there. And I would say 2018 is when I really put a focus back on the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so now writing and acting kind of go, they're a
That's a
little
balance.
even for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Got you. So
You do
with
film
going
too.
to the theater school, and when you finished, it's like, what do I do next? Like, what was your thought process thereafter? Because I understand that you still have to work, but that whole, how like when you're, I'm not gonna say a starving artist, but you're fresh out of school. It's like, yeah, I'm about to put all this knowledge, these skills to work. What do I do? Where do I go? Like,
Well, at the very start of it, it was kind of easy because I had booked, pardon all this noise in Harlem, but I got a show from our final showcase. And so we had our musical theater showcase, and 2 weeks later we were on spring break. First day of spring break, I get an email saying, "Hey, we'd like to offer you the role of Bree and Fancy Nancy." Just a children's book series that they've created some children's shows from. And so I was like, "Is this real? You offer me what?" And so then I said goodbye to my classmates and was like, "I'm going on tour, folks." So about 2 months, I was on the road in California, Colorado, Tennessee, Texas, and Arizona performing. And so that's how once I got out of school, I was like, all right, well, this is easy. And then I get back and reality sets in. It's like, that was cute. But so then I went, doing a lot of auditions, going into a lot of rooms, getting a lot of no's.
I was gonna.
Yeah. But I mean, you're going to get a little discouraged, of course, because that's the nature of life. But one thing that helped me to stay grounded was just being aware that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Absolutely.
And living the dream, doing the thing, making it happen is not so much about, oh my gosh, I'm on Broadway. It's the fact that I'm even in New York. There's someone back in South Carolina wishing they could just travel to New York, and I'm here. I'm on the grind doing the auditions, and maybe I haven't gotten to where I want to be, but just making the moves to try to get there is that is living the dream.
Gotcha.
And so and so done a lot of readings, a lot of play readings, working with a lot of really amazing people, a lot of amazing companies, with the National Black Theater here in Harlem. Worked with the Negro Ensemble Company.
Okay.
And yeah, when I got up here, because I met some people within MBT at the festival, my first festival in
Great
2013.
place to meet people.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna come up there and I'm gonna do the thing. So I went up there and I went into their offices. And I was like, I want to be a part of this somehow. And so I was working behind the scenes, like in their office, doing some office things, and I realized this office life is not for me. But I got to be a part of the reading series. I got to be in the reading series, and also like helping out behind the scenes with that as well.
Oh,
Yeah, so it was about building community for me after getting out of school.
And then developing those relationships.
Mm-hmm,
Got you. Deandre, Can you tell us about some of your no's?
Oh man. Well, the biggest no, which was actually a positive in my mind, happened the fall before last year. So 2 no's occurred the year of course, over a year after my graduation from getting my bachelor's from UNC Charlotte. I went to audition for Erdis alongside Marcus Fitzpatrick and Aaron Allen. It was more of a kind of a last minute decision for me. I didn't know anything about it at all because my knowledge in the game was still learning. I'm still learning in regards to events with theater, big things when it comes to film and television. And I decided to go out there because I heard the top acting programs and conservatories were here. And I decided to travel up with them to New York. I've never been to New York before. I did not know how cold it was. And I brought some thin jackets. And I regret it to this day. let me just put it that way. I didn't know how much the parking was. I came with there with a deer car in his headlights. So
you drove?
Nonetheless, yeah, I drove. I have a fear of heights. I was not flying.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but nonetheless, auditioned and I only received about 2 callbacks. One from Wayne State University and another one from Florida U. Unfortunately, I did not get accepted to either. I was put on a second list or whatever they call it, and I didn't get a call back. I actually got a rejection letter, and it kind of fueled me. I had a lot of misplaced anger over those couple of months because of it. But then when I talked to my Black Kings, I started realizing to myself, they may just had not needed an individual such as myself in their department at that time. A lot of people look for types. A lot of people look for something they need in that department at the time. And you can't go in there thinking which I had at the time, because you got a lot of credits on your resume, they're going to pick you. Because there's people that probably had like 6 credits and they got chosen. And I started really realizing that over the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take it personally. And I had to start really disciplining my mind that way over those next couple months. So I think the breakthrough that brought a positive light into my mind that allowed me to progress forward. I went down to Atlanta because they were doing the Ain't Too Proud auditions. Very Rising got their musical. I'm 100% sure y'all all know about it. They were doing Ain't Too Proud auditions in New York, LA, Chicago, and Atlanta. I decided to go to Atlanta to go do it. I'm not a big musical theater person, not because I don't like musical theater. It's the fact that because I'm a big guy, I'm always tasked with picking somebody up and tossing them or throwing them, and I hate it. I don't want to do it. I don't want your life and your body at my disposal if you get hurt. I don't want to do that. But I always get tasked with that because I'm always the biggest of the task. And I went down and there was about 300 something odd people mixed with women and men. And I get in there and I told myself, I gotta focus. Now we're all adults. See a lot of pretty African-American women. I had to force myself to stay focused because I'm be honest, I was a single man and I said, if I steer away from the goal, I'm gonna get distracted. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. But I focused, what is it? I did great on the singing audition. And what is it? We never did an acting portion. We just did singing and dancing. And I'm happy because I got past the singing audition. I know I killed it. They gave me a call back. And I said, okay. And I got ready to go there. And I always got there early those first 2 days. I got there like an hour and a half early because I would work out in the parking lot before the auditions. I get there and I passed the second callbacks that they were doing. And I'm like, I actually might get in this. Like I'm uber excited. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, if I get into this, my life about to change. I'm about to get out of Raleigh. And then it came down to me because it was the character of Otis. Obviously, you know that's probably the role I was gonna get. It came down to me and 2 other larger brothers. And I was like, this is when I started getting into competitive mode. I said, okay, you got to be the last one here. You got to be the last one standing. And I was doing good. I can dance if it's choreographed. But the instructor, who was about my same height, a light skinned man, I forgot his name, but he was a dance choreographer for the show. I forgot his name, but he looks like Maxwell the singer. But I think we had to do this last thing where you had to do a spin. You had to do a knee slide out to the middle of the room. You had to spin on one knee and land on the spot, get up and hit a split down. I ain't no quitter. I don't quit. I don't quit.
Excuse me.
But I went there. I got the knee slide without falling. I got the knee turn without messing up. I got up and I tried to hit the half split. My thigh, boom. Like, I was like, oh, man. And I've dealt with injuries. I fought through it, and I think the dance instructor saw what happened, but he respected the fact that I kept going. Now, the other two brothers, I'll be honest, they hit it spot on. They're my same size, and I felt kind of disappointed. I was like, man, how can they do that? And I can't. I was like, man, I was disappointed. But then the instructor came and talked to me after. He said he really commends the fact that I kept going through that despite he knowing I hurt my thigh. And I was disappointed for about I was disappointed for like the next couple of days. But then I really had to sit there and tell myself, I got to a final callback of a national Broadway show, and musical theater isn't even my specialty. And when I really thought about that, I said, as many of those people that came from different states to go to that audition, and for me to make it to that final callback was just an accomplishment in itself. And it really boosted my confidence to say, you know what? No need to get down on yourself, because you don't get, just like Lloyd said, you're going to get a lot of no's, but you are going to come across some yeses. And I considered that, in my opinion, a yes, because I was able to get to at least the final stage of a field that I'm not so fluid in, which is musical theater. And that really built my confidence more and more. And the last example I'm going to give you is coming up through acting. I never got the lead role. And I don't know why. I would always get a villain. I would always get cast as the villain. And I kept getting annoyed over and over again. Because I was like, is this what y'all view me as? Like, it was funny at first, but I was like, can I get like the nice guy, the guy next door, the jokester of the class, like something? But no, it was Jock, angry dude. Leland. I remember my theater director from Southeast Raleigh, Zachary Roberts, great man and everything. But I remember when we did Christmas Carol, I didn't even bother to ask him what role I got, because I knew what he was going to give me. It was the Ghost of Christmas. I knew I was going to get it. I didn't even bother to ask. But I think sooner or later down the line, I started rejecting villain roles. So I said, I'm tired of playing this. I can play a romantic guy. I can play the comedic guy. I can play the hero. Like, I can play it all. And when I started taking a stance on what I can play, I forced myself. I was mentally only in the villain, a dramatic type of mindset where that's all I could play. But then when a lot of people close to me in the field started saying, Deandre, you can play other stuff. You don't just have to settle for that villain. And that really started expanding me to really tell these directors, I can do more than just yell or be quote unquote scary or intimidating on the stage. And I think that really built the confidence enough for me to actually tell these directors, I can be this. And the confidence that exuded from me, really made them want to, go outside of the box that they tried to put me in. So that was my experience with receiving those.
Well, you know, Michelle has a masterclass series with Fayetteville State, and she had Lamont Rucker on there, and he talked about one thing about being tall and how many roles he didn't get just because of his height. But the other thing he said that was so very important is you really turn down roles because of the writing. When you see a good role and it's written really well, it doesn't matter whether they're bad or good. You got a chance to really explore your craft in that, and that was very good advice. Quick, and we'll get back to you, Lori. Leland, see, I directed Blues for Alabama Sky, And Leland, I had to teach him. Leland, if y'all don't know the play, it's this guy that comes from Alabama that comes up. Is it New York? Is it New York or is it Chicago?
Tuskegee, Alabama. You go to the Harlem, I think.
Yeah, Harlem. That's right. It was New York, and he falls in love with this lady who wants to go to France with Guy, and Guy is gay, but he's a costumer. And then she finally starts messing with this guy. She gets pregnant by his baby, and now Guy got a chance to go be the costumer for a big star, and she wants to go. So she has an abortion, and Leland, she had to tell Leland that she lost a baby, and Leland got mad and killed the doc who did the abortion. That play, and Leland, he's the sweetest person, but at the end, he's like you said, he's a villain, right? And we did it.
Yeah.
You did with a real blank pistol at the end.
Yeah, they put one in my hand, but my hand was big to the fact they had to get like 3 different guns because my hands is really big. So when I first got the guns, it was covering up the gun to the point where people didn't know what it was in my hand. So they said, okay, we got to get a new one. But Blues, honestly, today, because I've been acting since 2014, Blues for an Alabama Sky, the character of Leland, has been my favorite role. And I think because I'm from the South, because I'm from Raleigh, I was able to resonate. Now, I haven't had a kid yet, thank the Lord. But what is it? Nonetheless, what is it? When I moved up, what is it? Being from the South, I knew how to resonate. I knew how to resonate with that and falling in love and having somebody take something away from you, not to the extent of a child for me, but as in my heart, love and stuff in that nature. And seeing seeing there was a lot of symbolism in that play, and I loved it so much.
It was the Harlem Renaissance that I did. Langston Hughes, the whole thing. Yep. And you know, the reason why I asked you about the gun, because that we had a light cue for that, so that when he shot, the lights went out, and that fire from that gun, and the whole audience just got moved. And very predictable is that was one of the biggest parts of the play, because nobody thought that he would actually kill him. And then at the very end, and Laura, you would have did this perfectly. The girl who caused all this to happen, she comes down to center stage, sits on a stool, and she turns and looks to the audience with a, oh, well, stuff happens.
She was a selfish
She was cold. She was a cold sister.
You took my child.
Let's talk about film versus stage, Lori. Film versus stage. You working in film now, aren't you? Aren't you working in film and stage?
I'm working on the behind the scenes more so. I haven't really done a lot of in front of the camera work. Okay. I did a lot of background work in 2019. And then I just did a little background yesterday on something. Okay. I've been going back and forth, like, do I want to do that right now? Yeah. I'm going to be doing a featured background role next week on a show. Okay. But yeah, so 2019, you know, you have your like cycles of like trying to get things to happen, and then things start really happening. So 2019 was the time when things were really happening again. So I was cast in a show, Skinfolk, an American show, and oh my gosh, my brain just went away from me. I was in that show, and Jillian Walker. Jillian Walker, amazing woman and playwright. It's her show. She wrote it. It's about her family, about just being Black and living in America, and just all the wonderful things. It was she, myself, and another actress, Sabia Michelle Derry. And we did the show at the Bushwick Star, and it was my favorite show that I've done so far.
Okay.
We got extended, we got the New York Times Critics pick, and then the world shut down.
COVID.
Yes, man. It was just, yeah, it was terrible. And then after that, I was supposed to be going on to do another show. And so I was in my mind, I said, all right, this is it. 2020, because I said 2019, 2020 is my year. And then of
Yeah.
course it was nobody's year.
Right.
But the very beginning of it was amazing. And I also said in 2020 that I'm going to jump into doing more film work. That was my plan, as I'm going to take this momentum from this amazing theater happening and jump in. And then, so after everything shut down, I had to revamp. And I've started working on writing something for myself. And I did, but I haven't done much filming for it because I've been busy on sets with health and safety. Those are like 12-hour days at least, you know. But slowly working into it. And I wasn't always comfortable seeing myself on screen. Like even watching the clip you had at the very beginning, I was like, ooh, but yay! You know, so it's been a journey for me getting okay with that, which I actually became more comfortable with during the pandemic because I started doing TikTok videos and just having fun with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do more theater. I do mostly theater, and I love theater and look
Me
forward to
too.
it coming back. But I also look forward to being able to jump more into film as well in the future.
Well, I just want to put a plug in here for Agape. We still have the rights. We're going to be doing Crowns. We're
Oh,
going to be doing,
wonderful!
yeah, we're going to be doing the Front Porch Society, which was at the National Black Theater Festival last 2019, and I'm writing a play called When Fear Knocks, Faith Opens the Door, and I'm hoping to have that done by the end of the summer. So Agape is ready to go. Like you said, we can't wait for the theater to open, but we have to wait till people going to show up, right? I mean, you can't do theater if people don't show up. So, Michelle, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's kind of hard, especially with COVID, and I know everything is still uncertain, you know, with everybody having a vaccine. But since we're on the topic of COVID, what has COVID, thinking about your journey in your career, what has COVID taught you in that perspective?
Good question.
I personally, speaking on my behalf, COVID forced me to slow down. I do a lot of stuff, and it really forced me to slow down and just enjoy life. I started getting too engulfed in my craft, writing, producing stuff, directing stuff. My father had to tell me to stop. Like he really had to tell me to stop because he's like, stop doing a bunch of stuff. He said you can just put a couple stuff to the side and just focus on like two maybe three things. Yeah, I really was. I was working from like 6 to 3, writing from like 3 to 6, and then studying lines from like 6 to 9, going out like 10 to 1. So COVID really forced me to slow down, but it also allowed me to really unlock the creativity in me. I did not write films or plays at all until COVID happened, because it allowed me to sit back and really tell myself, I want to write stories that I know I can play. I want to write stories that I know other people can play. And it made me sit back and realize, because being here in Raleigh, there's so much undiscovered talent here, but it's hard to find platforms that will allow you to showcase it. And I started telling people, if you collaborate with me, we both can prosper. Especially us being fellow African Americans, it's already hard to get into the business. And since I'm young, I'm 23 years old, I wanted to find other individuals in their 20s. And now I do admit, me being here in Raleigh, it's been more easier for me to find African-American women around my age doing this than brothers around my age doing this. I don't know why that is, maybe because I'm in Raleigh or the Durham area, but it's been hard for me to come across that. But COVID really forced me to really unlock the creativity in my mind and put it towards my craft.
Lori?
Yeah, so COVID definitely slowed me down as well. I think so. It slowed everybody down. It was great to take that moment, especially living here in New York when it is go, go, go. And you're constantly on the grind, either working in something or trying to work in something. And having that time to just sit and be with myself was very necessary. Theater and performance and all that aside, it taught me, like I'm sure it taught everyone, just to really appreciate the people that you have around, and that life is so precious and can be gone in an instant. So just I'm always trying to be conscious of the people I'm around and like holding people close and just randomly, hey, how you doing? Showing some love. But as much as I could, trying to reach out and do that more so in this time. And it allowed me, like I said, I was already writing before, but before everything shut down, like in January, I was already thinking to myself, okay, I've written several short plays. I want to put on an evening of readings of my work. And then everything shut down and I didn't know, I guess we're not going to do this. But then after having that time to sit and chill, be and relax, I refocused my energies and said, all right, well, we can still do this. And so I started Major Minor Productions, which is not nearly as big as Deandre's. Like, Deandre's doing it up. I was producing readings via Zoom of some of my work. So I have 4 readings. Oh my gosh, there's one I never put up. I gotta get all that. But there's 3 readings, play readings of mine that are available to watch now. One of them I'm in. You could go to Lori Sinclair Minor, my page on YouTube, and watch those. But that was wonderful to be able to take control over saying, all right, I want to get my work out here. I don't have to wait on somebody to say yes to it. And I can make it happen myself. And so it taught me to, coronavirus and all this time taught me to stop, breathe, be with myself. Don't take anything for granted, but then also know that I truly have the power within myself to make things happen for myself, and I can take the initiative and make things go. So yeah, that's what it taught me.
And that is awesome, because I think that COVID taught a lot of us pretty much the same thing. I would say with what I do, I work with the Department of Performing and Fine Arts, and curating a series and going from one event to the next. Like Deandre, my aunt was like, do you ever sit down? You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yeah, I did 5 minutes ago. But but what I was saying is that with COVID going forward, I know for me, I have to learn how to breathe. We're constantly going, and everybody is anxious to get back into what used to be our norm, which I don't think we will anytime soon. But as things open up, I just hope that both of you are so talented, and I would love to see more work, but just take that moment to breathe.
Right.
Because I think when we do that, not only do we, evaluate what we are, what we're doing, well, who we are and what we're doing and where we're going next.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so listening to the both of you, I think it allowed it, catch me if I'm wrong, the both of you to channel deeper into your creativities as creators in many areas, not just performing, but as writers as well.
And you know what? We have to really listen to young people because you guys are the next generation, but you guys have to listen to us too because we've been there and we know what it takes. And I had to I was sat down. I'm gonna name drop here. Tara Hodge directed Dance on Woods Road for me. And she was one of my former students, like graduated back in 2010. And she said, Professor Hinton, will you please go in your office and sit down? I got this, right? And I had to trust her, right? I had to trust her, and she did an outstanding job at directing that play. But, you know, we have it in our blood. And so question, being a Black artist, talk about that in this, I hate to say it, but white entertainment world. Y'all want to discuss that before we have to go? You find it is a problem for you?
I think what I've noticed I've noticed so much since getting out there professionally, being on sets for shows and being on sets for films. The lack of respect has been very noticeable. I haven't been used to it. Like I said, I'm just starting to get into the professional world over the last 2 years. And it's just seeing the difference in how Black filmmakers are treated versus how white filmmakers are treated. The amount on how much you're charging, to the to the respect that they give on set. And I'll give you a prime example. I was on set for one of these shows, and even though it was the main videographer, cinematographer, and the director were two African American women, it's like all the people immediately went to the white assistants and the white, because they thought they were in charge when they weren't. And it's like was kind of like eye-opening to me. And also, it's just, you got to work 10 times harder, and that's in life. We all know this in any type of career field. If you're a person of color, especially Black in this country, you got to work 10 times harder. You have to work. You got to learn how to carry yourself in certain environments. But one thing I did tell myself going into this game, I'm a 6'4" African American male that's around 205. Society already looks at me a certain way. I can never change that to the day I die. Right. And I told myself, regardless whether I'm in acting, regardless whether I'm in sports, I'm not going to change myself. I'm not going to change the way I talk to make you feel comfortable around me. I'm not doing that. I'm going to, bring my creativity. I'm going to bring myself. I'm going to bring my authenticity to the table. And if you don't accept that, then your platform, your brand is not what I want to be a part of. I have always been an individual that has advocated, especially since going into college, that has advocated for the Black community, whether that's the arts or whether that's society. And some people kind of feel, some people take the approach in, what is too much advocating? What is not enough advocating? And I learned how to advocate, but at the same time, be aware of what can be at stake. And I always tell people at the end of the day, if an individual choose not to, or a team, a production director, a caster, if they choose not to accept me because I advocate for my community, then that's a person that I do not want to work with. Whether that keeps me from getting an Oscar, whether that keeps me from getting an Emmy, a Tony. Yes, we all want to receive those accolades, but it's just a piece of metal. I'm not trying to degrade it, but it's just a piece of metal. It's just an accolade. And I told myself, I'm going to advocate for my community while at the same time showcasing it, because my main objectives is to break the stigma of Black culture through the arts. I want to be a generational influence for my generation. And I want to bring a Black theater, like a Black theater and a Black production studio to the RDU area, especially in downtown Raleigh in the Black Friday market. Shout out to Official Smoke. But those are my main themes, and just working around working around that stuff in the industry has really been very, it's been hard, but at the same time, it's been building me mentally. Because you're gonna go through stuff that you can't change. You're gonna have to learn how to make your presence known if you're the only African American person at that script read. If you're the only African American person at that pitching when you're pitching, because we all know if you're the only African American in the room, this is going through life, you're expected to speak amongst the whole Black community. It's wrong, but at the same time, you have to know what to say, because they will take it and run with it. And then your name will be attached to it, even though that may not be said. Yeah. And I've just been learning how to navigate around those barriers. And we all still learn. No matter if you've been in the industry for like 70 years, you're gonna still learn. And I'm learning slowly, but very proficient.
You know, when I was in California and working on a job, and they would come to me and say, and they would say something, and they said, "Well, see, that's why we didn't want to mention it to you, because that you raise your voice. You know, it's always, Black men, they raise their voice, or they getting upset or ready to fight or something like that." But anyway, Lori, you get to last. Yes.
Hi, my computer just said we're dying, so hopefully I stay with you guys. I'll piggyback off what Deandre is saying about just being your authentic self. That's so important and something that I keep in mind and try to do for myself in my art, because, and even being my authentic self has been an interesting thing to navigate throughout my entire life, and a matter of my voice and how I'm perceived in Black or white spaces. But especially going out for shows and things where, maybe it's not specifically asking for a certain, Black person, white person, or whatever person, walking into a room and saying, "This is me. Here is the way I'm interpreting this person. And you want me or you don't want me. You want this experience through this lens, through this, or not." I will say that I worked mostly in Black theater and in telling Black stories and working with Black creatives. So I haven't moving here to New York so much dealt with like people that didn't look like me. But on my first tour, the tour that I was talking about earlier today, that was a challenge for me because I was the only Black person in our group that went on the road. And there were noticeable things that would happen, and I was not as outspoken as I am now back then. And I wish 2021 Lori was back there, because I would have told them something. In my own way, I spoke up for myself, but there were moments where I was afraid to, because it was my first big job, and I was like, oh man, if I say something, it's so easy for them to go, you're trying to play the Black card. It's like, no, I'm trying to play the reality card. Y'all just being rude out here. So definitely in those moments, I had to call my mom a lot, and and just and pray and stand firm and speak out in my own way. In that moment, I also definitely talked to our bosses back in New York and explained to them, like, hey, I'm feeling uncomfortable in this moment. I'm glad that in some ways I was able to speak up for myself. But what really helped me in that time was having friends and family all over where we were going. In every state and almost every venue, I had a family or a friend that would be able to come and see the show. And then a lot of times if we were there for a few days, I'd be able to go out with them and just have my time. Like, all right, y'all save me for a little bit. So there definitely is challenges, and it's hard too, but I encourage everyone to just stay grounded in who you are
Right.
and advocate for yourself, speak out for yourself, because somebody's gonna try to paint you in a certain light, you know. But it's like at the end of the day, I know I'm doing what's right. I know I'm standing up for myself. I know I'm speaking out for something that is not right. And so if you want to hate on me for that, okay. You know, but at the end of the day, the truth will out, as I say, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stay prayed up. Stay prayed up.
Stay prayed up. Yes.
Yeah. Any final words,
All day, every
Michelle?
day. Yeah.
No,
Michelle?
that's it for me.
Well, we really enjoyed talking with you two, and we wish y'all amazing success on stage and in film. But we're going to end the show with a little short clip from Lori. Can you talk about what Black Coffee is about?
So I was introduced to this song when I was doing a show in South Carolina many years ago. Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald both sang it back in the day and popularized it. It's about this woman, just her man has gone away and she's just sitting drinking black coffee thinking about where her man at, you know, and just being really sad and lonely about that. And I don't relate to it in a way that my man's gone away. I don't have one. I'm like, where you at? But I relate to the loneliness that she's feeling, that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it, and hopefully people can find some, you know, happiness and peace within. Like, I encourage everyone, reach out to somebody, because everybody's not doing as great as they think, as they may present that they are, as you think they are. You know, people are feeling lonely because a lot of us are living alone, or even if we're not living alone, this is a very isolating time. So it was suggested, I said, Facebook, I want to sing a song for somebody. And one of my friends said, sing that song. You sing that one. So that's why I sang that song and presented it earlier this week on Facebook. So yeah,
Okay,
there you
so
go.
here we're going to end the show with Black Coffee, and thank you both for joining us on Agape Theater Project.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
All right,
you.
everybody. Thank you. Everybody mute.
Are you?
I'm feeling mighty lonesome, haven't slept a wink. I walk the floor and watch the door, and in between I drink black coffee. Love's a hand-me-down brew. I'll never know a Sunday in this weekday room. I'm talking to the shadows, 1 o'clock to 4, and oh, how slow the moments go when all I do is pour black coffee. Since the blues caught my eye, well, I'm hanging out on Monday, my Sunday dreams to dry. Now man is born to go a-loving, a woman's born to weep and fret, to sit at home
Moaning all the morning, wanting all the night, and in between it's nicotine and not much hard to find. Black coffee. Feel the low as the ground. It's driving me crazy, just waiting for my baby to maybe come around. Now my nerves have gone to pieces. My hair is turning gray, and all I do is drink black coffee. Since my mind's gone away.
All right, everybody. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
A great night.
I don't feel where that's playing from. Okay, we're out.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll talk.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.